Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. Today we're plunging into the fascinating, sometimes pretty frustrating world of AV setups. Our focus. It's a device that might seem, unassuming, but apparently packs quite a punch. The WolfPack 4K 60 Hz 1x2 HDMI Splitter, the one with EDID, auto scaling, and separate audio. So our mission for this deep dive is to really unpack this thing. We're going beyond just the basic product description, which we'll treat as a bit of a goldmine, actually, for surprising facts. We want to figure out what each technical term really means for you, how it solves those nagging AV challenges, and, well, hopefully bring you those aha moments without totally overloading you with info. Okay, let's unpack this, right? So basics first. We kind of know what an HDMI splitter does. Takes one signal, makes two, simple enough. But this specific one input to two outputs WolfPack, it's not just about basic duplication, is it? What are the practical situations where this really shines for someone's home setup? Entertainment, gaming.
Yeah, that's a great place to start. The basic function is simple. Take one HDMI, source your game console, maybe a streaming box, cable receiver, whatever, and send its signal to two different displays at the same time. But the practical part, that's where it gets useful. Think about having a TV in the living room, maybe another in the kitchen, and you want to watch the same game or movie on both without buying a second Apple TV or something. Or maybe you're doing a presentation. You need the main screen plus a smaller monitor just for you. It's really about getting that seamless, simultaneous view exactly where you need it, instantly.
Okay, that makes sense. Lots of flexibility for where you watch. But all right, now we're duplicating the signal. How do we make sure we're delivering the absolute best picture quality? Especially now, with so much stuff being in 4K. This is where specs like 4K 60 Hz resolution and 18 GBPs video bandwidth at 4.4.4 come in. Now, honestly, I just want my picture to look good. Does all that jargon, does it really make a difference I can actually see? Or is it just numbers on a box?
That's a totally fair question. And the short answer, yes, absolutely. It makes a huge difference. One you can definitely see. 4K 60 Hertz, right? That means you're getting ultra high definition video, yes. But it's running at 60 frames per second. Smooth. This gives you incredibly sharp images and, crucially, really fluid motion, which is essential for anything fast-paced sports, action movies, high-end gaming, where any kind of blur or lag is just distracting. And the 4.4.4 part, that's all about color accuracy. It means the color information is fully sampled for every single pixel. No compromises. You get the most vibrant, true-to-life images possible without that sort of visual shortcutting or color smearing you might see otherwise. And the 18 GBP's bandwidth. Think of it like a really wide highway, an autobahn for all that high-quality video data. It prevents bottlenecks, ensuring your expensive 4K TV actually gets the full quality signal it's designed for. This splitter makes sure that connection is wide open.
Right, okay.
Preventing bottlenecks, ensuring vivid color key for that pristine image. Got it. Now, let's say you've got this beautiful 4K signal, but your displays are a mix. Maybe one new 4K TV, but you're still using an older 1080p one somewhere else. We've all been there, right? How do you stop everything getting dragged down to the lowest common denominator? This is where the WolfPack's auto-scaling comes in. Specifically that a 4K 60 Hz input can downscale the second output to 1080p. Is it really that smart? What if one display is 4K and the other is, I don't know, an ancient 720p TV? Does it still work, or is there a limit?
It genuinely is pretty smart. Auto-scaling means the device looks at each connected display individually and adjusts the resolution based on what that specific screen can actually handle. So yeah, if you have your new 4K TV and an older 1080p monitor, or even a 720p projector, the splitter doesn't just dumb everything down to 720p for both. No, instead, it sends the full, glorious 4K signal to your 4K TV. And then automatically, without you touching anything, it scales the signal down to 1080p or 720p if needed for that second screen. It makes sure both screens get a compatible picture, and crucially, you don't lose quality on your better display. Just adapts.
That sounds like a massive relief for compatibility headaches. Okay, next up, EDID management with 10 custom settings. Now, this sounds technical, like something only a pro installer would normally fiddle with. Can you demystify EDID for us? Why is it important? Because honestly, I can't tell you how many hours I probably wasted blaming my TV or my console when it might have just been this handshake issue. Sounds like this box could save some frustration.
Yeah, it definitely can. What's fascinating here is how devices talk to each other behind the scenes. EDID, extended display identification data. It's basically this silent conversation happening all the time. Your source, like a Blu-ray player. Ask the display, hey, what can you handle? Resolutions, refresh rates, audio formats, and sometimes, like you said, that conversation goes wrong. It's not the TV's fault, not the source's fault, just a miscommunication, a bad handshake. That's where custom EDID settings, like the 10 options this splitter offers, come in. They let you step in and manually control that conversation. You can basically tell the source, okay, pretend the display supports this resolution or this audio format. It can be a total lifesaver for fixing those stubborn compatibility problems, forcing the right resolution or audio, especially in more complex setups where things aren't playing nicely by default. It gives you control.
Control is good, definitely empowering. And speaking of flexibility, this splitter also has separate audio via a 3.5mm de-embedded audio output. What are the practical uses for that? And you mentioned a wide range of audio formats.
Right, the 3.5mm output. It's incredibly useful because it lets you de-embed, basically strip out the audio from the HDMI signal. So the video goes to your TV or projector, but you can route the audio somewhere else entirely, maybe to a separate sound system, like a soundbar or an AV receiver.
Right.
Or even just a pair of headphones. Think about maybe an older amplifier that doesn't even have HDMI inputs. You could watch a movie on the big screen, but send the sound to your great old stereo system. Or maybe game audio goes to your headset while the TV just shows the picture. Huge flexibility. And the formats. Yeah, it's remarkably comprehensive. Everything from basic stereo PCM, multi-channel 5.1, 7.1, all the way up to the high-res stuff like Dolby True HD, DTS HD Master Audio. Plus, it supports older formats too, ensuring it works with pretty much any audio gear you might have, old or new.
Wow, okay, so it really covers the bases on audio. Now, beyond just resolution and sound, it also supports 3D, HDR, HDR10+, Arity, and Dolby Vision. We hear these terms thrown around a lot, marketing buzzwords. Or do they actually make a visible difference to the picture, and why should someone care?
They definitely make a difference. They're not just buzzwords. They're about pushing the visual experience. 3D is, well, less common now, but HDR, high dynamic range. That includes HDR10, HDR10+, Dolby Vision. That's huge. It's about dramatically increasing the difference between the darkest parts of the image and the brightest highlights, and also getting a much wider range of vibrant, accurate colors. It makes the picture look much more realistic, more immersive, closer to how we see the real world. So if you're watching content mastered in HDR and a lot of streaming stuff, and Blu-rays are now, the splitter ensures you're actually seeing that enhanced quality, that extra pop and detail. It passes it through faithfully.
Great, so it handles the latest visual tech. Which brings us to practicality. You know, how easy is this thing to actually live with? It mentions HDCP 2.21.4, compliance, ESD protection, plug and play, and even an ONIM-OF switch. Does this mean it's complicated or actually user-friendly?
Well, definitely user-friendly. These features are all about making it reliable and simple. HDCP compliance, that's essential. It's copy protection. You need it to watch Netflix, Disney+, RAM, Blu-rays, anything protected. This supports the latest 2.2 standard and the older 1.4, so you're covered. No frustrating black screens. ESD protection, that's electrostatic discharge. It just means it's built tough, protected against static shocks that could damage it. Good for longevity. And plug and play means exactly that. No drivers to install, no software, just plug in the cables, plug in the power, and it should just work. Even the little on-off switch is nice. Saves you having to unplug the power adapter all the time if you want to turn it off completely. Plus, it's tiny. Metal case, but really small, 140 by 61 by 27 millimeters. And super light, only 60 grams. Easy to hide away. Oh, and for planning runs, which is always important, it supports pretty decent cable lengths, up to 32 feet, that's 10 meters, for 4K 60 hertz at a specific color setting, YCBCR 4.2.0. And even further, up to 40 feet or 15 meters for standard 1080p. That gives you quite a bit of flexibility in where you place things.
Okay, so summing up, this little WolfPack splitter, it's not just making two signals out of one, it's doing it intelligently.
Yeah.
Managing resolutions with auto-scaling, pulling out audio separately, handling copy protection, dealing with those tricky EDID handshakes, all to simplify potentially complex setups. It's like a smart little traffic controller for your HDMI signals, making sure everything gets where it needs to go in the best possible quality.
Exactly. Which, this raises an important question. Given everything we've just unpacked about this WolfPack splitter, the smart auto-scaling, the audio de-embedding, the custom EDID control, how might a single device like this open up possibilities for your own setup, your entertainment, your gaming, maybe even presentations? Possibilities you hadn't maybe considered before? How could it help you get more value out of the gear you already own?
That's the perfect thought to leave folks with. We really hope this deep dive sparked some ideas, maybe solved a future headache or two. Thanks so much for joining us, and we definitely encourage you to look at your own AV setups with perhaps some new enlightened eyes.